Good day, everyone. So I found something, and well, someone's brought it to my attention. I thought this was pretty cool and pretty interesting. This is the Genshin Simulation app. Pretty cool. Obviously, I've just sort of tested this out. If you would want to try and use this on your own machine, feel free to do so. There doesn't seem to be anything that you need to worry about. It doesn't link into your account or all of these things. Of course, I'm just on a completely different PC just sort of try this thing out. In fact, I'm also on a separate PC in a virtual box, so for different reasons altogether, personal reasons as well. But this is quite a cool thing. It's pretty nice. What I do like about an application like this is we actually get to see results, and we can also configure characters. We can configure what they must do, what attack sequences they must use, any conditional clauses. This character's burst energy level is this, therefore swap to this one. This thing's got quite a cool bunch of features. Of course, the project is still very much in its early stages, so I've just been trying a little team here on my own with the little app itself. But I mean, honestly, after a day of programming myself, I'm just too tired to now finally use the templates and to figure out exactly how to get the full team rotation in and then debug it and all these sorts of good things. But if you guys want, we can certainly play out and do a bit of like a simulated run. It is pretty cool. So let's go over this app and what it does. So obviously you put in all the results and stats and weapons, constellations, all those little good things. And this is really the interesting part, giving you the actual damage dealt over time, as well as what that average is per second, the standard deviation, very important to be able to see what's the sort of upper and lower bounds. And then what I like is, of course, this graph over time giving you an estimate of the lower, upper, and mean DPS as you sort of go, which is really cool. And what's even cooler is it gives you like this average DPS by character. In a certain sense, I'd like to get like a better effective DPS. So in other words, the portion of Raiden and Xiangling's damage that is attributable to the buff that Bennett gives would also be very interesting to give you some insights as well, because just looking at this graph, it doesn't seem like Bennett's doing a lot, when in fact he is primarily contributing to quite a large portion of this damage. So yeah, just things like that, but overall it's pretty good. And this is the thing that I think a lot of people lost me on when I tried to sort of say, well, Xiangling is she's a fantastic unit, just slightly overrated. Meaning that, for her to get this 40% that you see here, she needs Bennett and Xingshu to enable it, whereas Raiden, well, she just needs Bennett. And any other sort of teammates can give her more resolve. So this is the whole point. The damage that one character does can, with a different team and in a lot of different circumstances, be replicated. And hence you wouldn't necessarily need her, whereas things that are more fundamental, for instance, Bennett's just boosting the whole team, Raiden just excelling rotations, giving the whole team energy, things that are more fundamentally affecting the game, those characters I would consider to be higher on the list than characters that are just pure snapshot bots, because they don't offer anything that is fundamental to playing the game. It's just that they very conveniently fit into the role that they need to, but beyond that they don't do much more. And hence, especially if you get to higher and higher constellations, if you bumped up Raiden's constellations to C2, this power would like really start growing much more in Raiden's favor, and especially like towards the very highest end, where you've got a lot of characters at C6R5, characters like Xiangling tend to fall off, whereas characters like Bennett tend to stay because of the fact that he just fundamentally allows you to do way, way more. It's the same with Raiden Shogun as well. Again, no shade against Xiangling. She's an awesome character, just slightly overrated. And I think this is what people don't get. The fact that you can actually change, that different teams can also get this number in a variety of different ways. And what's very interesting to me as well, and this is what I've also been talking on the channel a lot, is how you deal this damage over time is so important. What are the breaking points? Do you get a team that gives you more consistent coverage of the area? In other words, if you had to work out like the area under the curve or under the line here, do you get a team that consistently gives you an area, even though the spikes might not be as high? Do you try and go for a team that's got a very high spike and lots of little downtime in between, as you can see right here? It's very interesting for analysis purposes. You can do some very interesting time series analysis as well. So all these things are interesting, and this is what I want from Fairycraft, is I want them to come and say, look, against this enemy, use this rotation, because you can clearly see that at the 5-second mark, you're going to do this, whereas if you took the bulk of your damage to the 10-second mark, then the enemy might be in an invulnerability phase and you lose out all of this, and this is not so good. And this is the type of thing that would be much more interesting, far more intuitive and far more fun when we discuss different characters than just simple, oh, my character with this, my character. It's just, all of those things become pointless unless we can actually put some maths on the table, and that we can also sort of stress test some of the things as well. So for instance, what would happen if I changed Xiangling's EM right here? What would happen if we changed some of these stats? How would this look over time? Etc. etc. So obviously the guys at Genshin Sim, hopefully in the future they can answer some of these questions. It'd be quite cool. If they're looking for a project sponsor, then obviously open invitation, just contact me. But I mean, otherwise it is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool tool. I'm just too tired to now use it, but if you guys are interested, I could definitely try and learn the ins and outs of this tool, and then try and write up some Kokomi teams as well. The only thing is I don't have like all the weapons that I want to test, like I can't test Everlasting Moonglow and some of the other weapons, but I mean those will obviously be added over time. What's Amber Beat? Never heard of this weapon. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down below, and have a great day. Cheers.